4 stages of learning. If you do not understand these 4 stages of the learning process, likely is that many of you may not even know why you need to learn. And some of you may thought that you have really know it all already and you stop learning. Let me ask you a question. Have you heard about the Nyarib language? The Nyarib language is actually a language from South Africa. It is one of the very rare language now that very few people, maybe 4, 5 or 6 people are actually speaking this native language at the moment. So I'm pretty sure you are like me. I also do not know what is this particular language all about. To understand these 4 stages of learning, because you never know that there's such a language in this world called Nyarib language. So your unconscious competence, you are unaware of the skills and your lack of the proficiency at this particular stage. And it's very important to understand this. There's a lot of things that we unconsciously do not know that we are incompetent until when we are pushed and faced with a challenge that we need that competency to execute. And we suddenly realize that this is something that I don't even know that I don't know. The next step that you're going to see is that we are talking about the conscious incompetence. The conscious incompetence is the stage where you are aware of the skill but not yet proficient with it. It may be in network marketing. There are certain skills that you know. Before that, you never know that you need that skill. But now you realize that you are conscious that you need that skill. So you know that you are not competent enough to execute that skill. So you are aware of the skill but not yet proficient. The key words here is not yet. A lot of people will subscribe to the sayings, I don't know how to do it. So you say that you do not know how to do it, you practically will stop at this particular stage where you are consciously incompetent, but you are not willing to change and to learn. So it's very important to say you are not yet proficient, and what you need to do is to go to the next step to be conscious competent. That brings you to the third stage where you are able to use the skill but only with effort. See, a lot of us here, when we at this particular stage, we may be very conscious that you are competent. It's just like you go for a car driving lesson. I still remember when I first started, I thought that driving is easy. So I was unconscious, incompetent. I was just a young kid playing how to drive car. And when I begin to realize that consciously that I'm incompetent, and I wanted to start to learn how to drive way back in 1985. I still remember the way I learned how to drive car is not using automatic gears. So when we started to learn, the first couple of lessons, the first 10 to 15 lessons of a half an hour lesson, we was driving so slowly. We are conscious that we are incompetent. We are so focused. We look at the steering wheel. We look at the rear mirror, the side mirror. We are so conscious of our instructors sitting next to us. And we are driving something like 30 kilometers an hour, and you will hear that people from behind you honking at you. And we are still focused and learning how to drive with the conscious incompetent. When we start to become conscious competent, meaning to say the day when we arrive at the driving school, where we started to go for the exam, and we consciously are competent, and the examiner gave us a pass, and immediately we got a license, but with the P license practice we driving. And guess what? The first day we do drive, a lot of people, even after the conscious competent going through a life lesson, after they got the license, I've seen there are many of them still up to today are not driving at all because of the phobia of driving by themselves without the instructor. They have a phobia that they have an accident and they stop from actually pursuing the next step. The next step will require you to take practice after practice. So that's the reason why the last particular seminar we talk about practice persistent. Never give up. You have to keep on practicing. You have to keep on driving. Guess what? After 2 or 3 years, when you start to be able to learn how to drive, you become the next step called unconscious competent. When you are performing the skill now, you become just automatic. At this particular stage, you can drive a car. Sometimes without your hands on the steering wheel, you can have a Big Mac on your left hand or the right hand, without your hand on the steering wheels and on the gear if you are using automatic gear. And sometimes you can even be able to turn to the back and try to get your kids to be quiet behind the car. And there is the stage where you become unconscious competent. And this is the best stage that we all should be arriving at in doing anything. From unconscious incompetent, you realize that you need to acquire a certain skill. You become conscious incompetent, and you start to acquire the skill. After consciously competent, you practice over time, you become unconscious competent. And I see all the successful people, be it in our organization like Derek Chiu, be it like Dr. Alan Noble, people like Trish Swangler, people like Tyler Norton, when they go up on stage and they were giving the speech, it is just at the unconscious competent stage that they don't even have to think. What I want to encourage you all is that every one of us, it doesn't matter who you are, you go through this cycle, these stages of learning from unconscious incompetent to conscious incompetent to conscious competent, way up to become an unconscious competent. So be persistent in your journey to learn. With these 4 stages here, you'll be very confident not to give up. All right?
Hi, I hope you like this video. We'll be uploading a lot of educational, motivational and inspirational video content in this channel on personal and leadership development and the success principle to help you to get from where you are right now to where you want to be. If you'd like us to notify you every time we upload a new video, please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell. And do check out all the other videos in this channel. Wishing you all greatness and success.